Hello everyone and welcome to Ian's Brick. So I'm going to go through a list today of all of the Star Wars sets that are due to retire at the end of 2024. This is based on the current information available from the Brick Fanatics website. Do check out their website if you haven't done before. They always have a list of all the potential dates of Lego that is retiring, not only from this year but next year and other years as well. The accuracy of that is pretty good, but obviously Lego themselves can change their minds, and they quite often do. So what I will say at the start of this video is not every single item set on this list will potentially retire at the end of the year. At the moment, as of things in mid-September 2024, all these sets are down to retire at the end of the year, but of course Lego can change their mind, so just bear that in mind. I'm going to talk about this probably more from the point of a Lego investor like myself, where I'm looking to buy sets to sell on, so hold for a short while and then sell on next year or the year after potentially. But also, if you are just buying for yourself, do have a look at this list as well, because there may be some sets on here that you don't own, that you're a Star Wars fan perhaps, and that you don't own and you want to be buying before the end of the year. Now would be a very, very good time about thinking to get some of those sets before they disappear from shelves altogether, because you can find that sets that are retiring or are due to retire at the end of the year, they do start disappearing from shelves, especially around about October, November time, when you get Black Friday and deals and things like that. Stock in stores and online will dry up, and then it'll become very, very difficult to get those sets in the future if you want to buy them for normal retail price. What I will say as well is all of the sets on this list, do always look out for potential deals and bargains, and although I'm talking and giving a list of all of the sets that are retiring from sort of the worst to the best, what I will say about Star Wars is Star Wars Lego is that it is generally a very, very good theme to invest in. Even the worst sets on this list have potential, if you buy them at the right price, to still make you a bit of money as well if you're a Lego investor. So take everything I say with a pinch of salt. I'm not a financial expert, anything like that, so please don't put all your eggs in one basket and go for the number one on the list, but it's just my thoughts really on the sets that are retiring. So in total there are actually 24 sets currently on the Star Wars retirement list for 2024. I've actually only got a top 22 because 3 of the sets are very similar and I've kind of lumped them all into one. But I'm going to start from the bottom, from the worst to the best. So number 22 on my list is set 75358, the Tennu Jedi Temple. This is a set was released in June of 2023. All 4 of the minifigures apparently in this set are exclusive, but the reason why I don't like this, it's a very expensive price, £38 here in the UK, and also it's from the Young Jedi, which I'm assuming is some kind of spin-off series based for kids, and it's a 4+ set as well. This particular set is far too overpriced. I know a lot of 4+ sets are good because they don't have stickers on and things like that, but this set for me, I just don't think it appeals to the general Star Wars fan. Yes, the figures are exclusive, but there's like a comic-y version, a cartoony version of Yoda in that particular set, for example. Now, that's not to say that you can still not make some money on this if you're a Lego investor. I know recently these particular sets were heavily discounted. I think they were in either Asda or Sainsbury's supermarkets here in the UK, and they were down to sort of £12–15, that kind of price. If you can pick up a £38 set for £12 or £15, I'd say go for it. Me personally, I still think even at that price, you got to make a little bit of money on them, but I just don't think there's maybe the demand out for that set. So that is bottom of the pile. Do you agree with me? But yeah, that is the worst on my particular list at this time. There are better sets to come. So number 21 on my list is 75313, the AT-AT. Now, this is actually a very, very nice set. There's nothing wrong with the set. The problem from an investing point of view is this is a very expensive set. £735 in the UK. Yes, it's got a lot of pieces, 6,700 plus pieces. It was released in November of 2021, so it's been on shelves for about 3 years. 3 of the 9 minifigures in this set are exclusive apparently. But the reason I say this is not a good one to invest in from my point of view is that it's just such a big and and expensive set. For me, I sort of lack a lot of space to store these sets, and this is a huge box it comes in, and also it's very heavy, and also it's a lot of money as well. You know, you could buy, you know, £700 or £800 sets for the same price as you buy one big set in this particular case. Now, if you're a buyer, certainly this is something that you would probably want to try and get now. Look out for deals and discounts because they are available on this particular set. I would hope so. But yeah, it's something as an investor I wouldn't get, just because, not that it's not a nice set, it's just because of the size and the cost of the set. So that's number 21 on my list. 20 on my list is 75257, the Millennium Falcon. It was released in October of 2019, so it's been on shelves for quite a while. 2 of the 7 minifigures are exclusive, £150 here in the UK. Look, not a bad set, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. You can get this discounted, I've seen it as low as sort of 110, 120. Problem with this is that Lego will always continue to do Millennium Falcons. Once this one retires, they'll bring another one out, probably a bit bigger. They've got a smaller one out at the moment as well. It is a set that they will keep making more of. They've actually got one out at the moment, which is the black version, which is basically the same version of this, but in black with some nicer minifigures, personally. So that's why it's low on my list, is simply because the Millennium Falcon has been done to death. There's loads of them around, and there's not that many people wanting to go for this particular set. Having said that, if you can get it reduced, the chances are in a year's time you could potentially make a little bit of money on that if you sold it on. But for me, this is not a set I will be investing in, just because Millennium Falcon, it's been done before many times. Number 19 on my list is 75308, the R2-D2. This is a set that was released in May of 2021. No exclusive minifigures in this set. £210 recommended retail price in the UK. Again, I really like this set. I bought this set, I built it. It's quite a nice build. The reason why I wouldn't suggest you invest in this particular set is because it's quite a high price point. There's a smaller, nicer version, I think, of the R2-D2 out at the moment, which goes better with the C-3PO and the Tuaca figures that are currently available. But also, yeah, I just think there's not a lot of love for this set anymore. I think when it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a winner. But I think as time goes on, I certainly have cooled off a little bit on how I feel about this from a Lego investment perspective. Certainly, if you're a buyer and you want to buy this to build this, it is a really nice set. I built this myself. It's quite a big model, but I say it doesn't fit in with the rest of the theme now, and that's kind of what puts me off a little bit. Now, again, if you can get this vastly reduced, I would certainly think about buying one of these. I would say I wouldn't be put off completely, but it would have to be quite a good discount for me to want to buy these for investment. Next on the list, number 18, 75371, and that's the Tuaca, and this is a set was released in September of 2023, 2,300 pieces, so quite a big set. No exclusive minifigures in this one. Recommended retail price of £180. Now, this set, when it first came out, hasn't had a lot of love. It's only been on shelves for just over a year, so it's got a very, very short shelf life. Having said that, these have very, very recently in the UK been on discount on Very and Amazon for half price. I have bought a few of these, so even though this is towards the bottom of my investment list, I've still bought a few of these, and the reason is because I got a very, very good price on them. I think potentially this is a set that maybe a lot of investors haven't bought until recently, certainly in the UK, because I don't think there's a lot of love for it. The face on it is a little bit weird, the eyes just look a bit odd. It does, however, go with the C-3PO and the newer style R2-D2, so that's got potential there. And as I say, I got this at such a discounted price, it would be rude not to buy some. So although this is low down on my list, I certainly would not think about paying full price for this particular set. And even if you're buying this to build, don't pay full price. There are loads of deals and discounts. Even before it was half price, it was down to about £125 here in the UK. So there are deals and discounts on this set if you do want to get it. Not the worst set in the world, but certainly I'd err on the side of caution on this one, just because it's not had a lot of love. Next on the list is 75360, Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, released in August of 2023. One of the two minifigures is exclusive, £30 here in the UK. I think this is low on the list. I actually don't mind this set particularly. It's quite a nice set, and I think as we go through the list from now on, a lot of the sets I actually quite like, and I don't think there's too much wrong with them, but I think there are slightly better sets out there. But there's not a lot in it really from the sort of middle chunk of sets that I'm going to go through. This is a set that had been released before in an almost identical form. Again, you can get this reduced. I think I've seen them for around about £22 on average on Amazon, so you can get this reduced. I think just because it's been done before, this particular set is slightly less appealing to me. But it still doesn't mean to say that I still wouldn't buy some to invest. I just wouldn't go and buy loads and loads and loads of these because I don't think long term they're going to be mega popular, but they're still not a bad little thing to have. Next on the list, number 16, 75363, the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter Microfighter, released in August of 23, £13 here in the UK, so a nice small little set here. Nothing too special with this, no exclusive minifigures. You get the Yoda and the Mandalorian, neither exclusive. It's okay, this, again, if you can get this reduced, I think I would think about buying a few of these, but at £13 I certainly wouldn't go out to get loads and loads of these. Nice little things, sort of stocking filler type things. I do lots of Lego fairs and things, so these kind of small sets actually do reasonably well on fairs and shows and things like that, but it's just not that exciting to me, and that's why it's sort of towards the bottom of my middling list really of the Star Wars sets to get. Next on the list is another small, no, it's not another small set, I've missed one out. It's 75348, number 15 on my list, and that is the Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor, released in May 23. One of the 4 minifigures is exclusive, and it's £90 here in the UK. Again, this is an okay set, and I picked up some of these myself recently. I think at the moment they're around about £55 on Amazon in the UK, so you can at least get them at a reduced price. You obviously get 2 ships with this one, which isn't too bad. Again, those ships have been done to death really, similar kind of ships in Star Wars, so this is kind of why it's one of my middling sets really. If you can get it at the right price, nice little set, and again with only 1 minifigure exclusive, it's slightly less appealing than maybe some other sets, but still not a bad set, but just maybe there are better sets out there. Next on the list is the Microfighter 75344, and this is Boba Fett's Starship Microfighter, released in January of 23. Apparently the minifigure is slightly exclusive on this. I'm not sure how exclusive it is, probably some slightly different printing on this one. £8.99 in the UK. I picked up some of these recently for about £6 or £7 each. I think at a lower price this is definitely worth going for. Yeah, I'm sort of mixed on this one. It's not that bad, but it's not that good either. Again, there are better sets out there, but as cheaper sets go, it's not a bad one to get. It depends how you, as an investor, how you would be selling. If you're buying these to sell on eBay and things, I would just say not bother. Such a small set, by the time you paid for post and packing, or someone's paid for post and packing, it's just, you're not making much profit in there. But if you've got a stall or a table at a show, these little sets tend to do reasonably well, especially after a couple of years. If you can hang on to them, you know, they go out of stock and people don't like them. It's always such a, you know, they call it Boba Fett's Microfighter. We all know it's used to be called the Slave one, but Lego don't like to use the word slave anymore, so they banished that and called it a Starship instead. But yeah, it's okay, but yeah, I think there are better ways to spend your money on Lego potentially. Next on my list is where are we at? Number 13, and unlucky for some, this is 75341, Luke's Skywalker Landspeeder, released in May of 2022, has a retail price of £210 in the UK. So this is the Ultimate Collector Series version of the Landspeeder. I've only bought one of these so far. I don't think it's a bad set, and I think a lot of people are maybe not looking at this set because they've done Landspeeders before, but of course not on this scale. I potentially think this might have a little bit more legs. I was thinking about putting this maybe a little bit higher on the list, but yeah, it's sort of in the middle of the pack really, this one for me. I think if you can get it at a good discount, this one should do this could do quite well for you. And again, it's not a set that's not been talked about an awful lot, and you tend to find with these Star Wars sets, the ones that aren't talked about an awful lot, They're maybe not got the mass appeal of some of the bigger, more popular sets, but there's still collectors out there for these particular sets, so don't completely overlook this set. Again, you'd be looking at getting a good discount on this if you can. I don't think it's a set that's heavily discounted anywhere here in the UK a lot, but as we get in the run up to the end of the year, stores are wanting to get rid of their stock. Potentially that's a good time to look out for some deals and things. But yeah, this could be a dark horse, this one, who knows. Next on my list, number 12, is 75361, the Spider Tank. Released in August of 2023. One of the 3 minifigures in this set is exclusive. £47. I think it's quite an expensive set for the size of the set. It's quite difficult to get hold of here in the UK outside of the Lego stores or lego.com. I think it has been available at B&M stores in the UK, but again, I've never seen them discounted. I went into B&M recently, it was hopeless, they had no Lego in there, so they're very hit and miss as to whether you'll be able to get those at a discounted price. Again, maybe a set that hasn't been talked about an awful lot. I think it's just quite a small set for the price that you're paying, and because you can't get it discounted, it makes it more difficult to make money if you're a Lego investor. As a buyer, for someone that likes these particular sets, I'm not sure there's a great lot of love for this set. I think there again are better sets, better looking sets out there for Star Wars, but certainly it's not one that I would want to overlook. Over this last year, I have actually bought a few of these. I think there was some Star Wars deals back in May, and I was struggling to find sets that I wanted to buy from the Lego store to sort of get my gifts with purchase and things, and I was buying quite a few of these Spider Tanks and Brickhead sets as well, just because they were the only sets that you could sort of buy that weren't discounted heavily elsewhere. So I did get a few of these. I think they're okay and they could do alright, but again, I don't think they're going to go stratospheric once they retire. Next on the list, number 11, 75352, the Emperor's Throne Room Diorama, released in May of 23. £90 here in the UK, although you can regularly get this for £20 to £30 off. Not a lot of love for the dioramas. I don't mind them. I think people have bought some of the dioramas that retired last year, and they haven't done as well initially as people had hoped, but I think people are always quite keen to make a quick buck, and they'll see a set retire and hope they assume it'll just go up 50% in value overnight. Things don't happen like that all the time with all Lego sets, and I think this could be a bit of a slow burner. Again, if you can get this at a slightly reduced rate, I would be looking out for those deals on this one. I quite like the look of the set. I've only bought a couple of them, I think, myself, but I'm aiming to get a few more before this retires. Again, I wouldn't get loads and loads of these. I think, again, there are potentially better sets out there, but it's not that bad, and this is sort of why this is starting to get into one of my more favoured sets, because I think it's definitely got a few legs on it, but a lot of people aren't liking this set, and they've been burnt by the dioramas in the past, but I think this maybe it's got a little bit more legs in it than some of the other sets that have retired previously. So we're into the top 10, and number 10 on my list, 75346, the Pirate Snub Fighter, released in May of 23. Both minifigures in the set are exclusive. It's £30 here in the UK. This has been vastly reduced a few times. I think regularly you can get these on Amazon for about £22, and I think recently it was either Asda or Sainsbury had these on at around about £15, £16. So there have been some good deals on this set in the past, which potentially means a lot of people have bought them. But having said that, I still think it's quite a nice little set. Slightly different. I don't think the build in this is particularly the best. I've heard a few reviews on YouTube and things, people saying, oh, it's not the best build in the world, but I think the minifigures give it some legs in this particular set. Short shelf life as well. I quite like this, and it's a cheaper set as well. So if you can get these sets for close to £20, I think you've got a potential of doing quite well with this particular set. If given a year or so, I think this could do okay. So that's why that's number 10 on my list. Number 9 on my list, 75364. This is the New Republic Ewing and Shin Haiti Starfighter, released in September of 2023. £95 in the UK. Now this I think is overpriced. However, there have been some very, very good deals and discounts on this set, so keep an eye out for those. What I like about this set, even though it is quite overpriced, is all 5 of the minifigures in this set are exclusive. You obviously get 2 ships again, a little bit like the other set, the Fang Fighter and TIE Interceptor before. It's like a double pack where you get 2 ships on this. I picked up a few of these as the year's gone on, again at some good discounted rates, so do keep an eye out for those discounts. But I think because there's some decent minifigures in there, again, I'm not a huge sort of Star Wars minifigure collector myself, but the people that are out there to get all 5 of the minifigures in there which are exclusive is a pretty good deal. But yeah, do look out for the discounts. I would not be suggesting you buy this at full recommended retail price, just because the set I think is quite overpriced in the first place, as a lot of Star Wars sets unfortunately are. Number 8 on my list, 75359, 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack. This was released in August of 2023, so again quite a short shelf life. £19 here in the UK. You can regularly get this for sort of about 15. There have been better deals out there in the past as well. Battle packs tend to do okay. I'm not sure maybe that this particular battle pack is going to be the most sought after, but obviously the websites are saying this, all 4 of the minifigures in this are exclusive. So but people do like to army build and like these sets. I think if you can get quite a few of these at a low price, these should do okay. Again, at things like shows and fairs, these will do better because it's a smaller set. More difficult to make money off this if you're an investor selling on eBay, because the returns are so low, and and by the time you've fees and all that kind of stuff, it's not kind of worth it. Next on the list, number 7, 75365, the Yavin 4 Rebel Base even, released in August of 23. 7 out of the 12 minifigures in this set are exclusive. Recommended retail price £150. Please don't pay £150 for this set. It's regularly available reduced. I know I've got quite a few of these and I was paying £90. Now, a lot of people don't like the build of this. It's got an open back. It's a play set rather than a sort of a display set. But I think it's got some legs in this one. I say 12 minifigures, so that's a good amount of minifigures for any set, 7 of which are exclusive, and you get over 1,000 pieces, so it's a reasonable size set. And also, basically, I am aware that they are making a Star Wars series, and the Yavin base apparently will feature quite heavily in that. I can't really give any more information from that, so thank you to the person that told me that. But yeah, apparently there is a show coming up next year or the year after that potentially will be featuring the Yavin Rebel base quite a lot. So that's another reason potentially why you might want to get this set if you haven't already. But do look out for those deals and discounts. Don't be paying full recommended retail price on this, because I think you'd struggle to make your money back anytime soon if you paid recommended retail price. But certainly some legs in this. Maybe for a year or two's time. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, number 6 on my list even is 40615, the Tusken Raider Brickhead, released in January of 23. £10. You can only get this from Lego and Lego.com. Brickheads I think always do okay. I think Tusken Raider, maybe not the most popular brickhead in the world, but I think it could do quite well, because it's quite a cute little build. I quite like it, and also you could potentially have more than one Tusken Raider in any particular scene. I just quite like this. Relatively short shelf life. It's Star Wars brickheads. They tend to do quite well. It's a cheap price. Again, probably more for shows and things like that rather than selling on eBay, just because of the margins of selling such small sets like this. But yeah, I quite like this. I probably need to get some more of these, because I have got a few of these already, but yeah, I could probably do with a few more, because yeah, this is not going to be on shelves for much longer. Top 5 then. So number 5 on my list, we actually have 3 sets tied at number 5, but they're also similar. I didn't really want to split them up, and these are the Star Wars mechs. You've got 75368, the Darth Vader mech, 75369, the Boba Fett mech, and 75370, the Stormtrooper mech. These were all released in August of 2023, so they've not been on shelves long. Very small sets these. They're £12.99 here in the UK, although right now on Amazon you can get them for around about £9.50 to £10, so already they're reduced. Short shelf life on these. I'm not a huge fan of mechs, but a lot of other people are, and I think this is why these could do potentially quite well. You tend to find when Star Wars, Lego do anything Star Warsy, like a theme, maybe like the helmets and things, they'll always start with the Darth Vader, the Boba Fett's and the Stormtrooper, because they're the most popular sort of figures really that Lego do. There is a Luke one of these out as well. I think they will continue to do these particular mechs as time goes on. And I think because they've got such a short shelf life, and they, potentially could be quite collectible. You could have all the mechs from all the different themes that they're doing. I think these potentially could do quite well. I've lumped them all together as one set, although they're not one set. You would have to buy them individually. I think of the three, potentially the Stormtrooper mech could do slightly better because people have Stormtrooper armies rather than Darth Vader armies as such, because there's only one Darth Vader, only one Boba Fett. But having said that, I don't think there was much in it, which is why I lumped them all together. It was silly to have them all separate, really. And they are number 5 on my list. So, into the top 4. We're getting to the big ones now. Number 4 on my list is 75350, the Clone Commander Cody helmet, released in March of 2023. £60 here in the UK. You've regularly been able to get this discounted around about £40, so do keep an eye out for those deals and discounts. Probably not one of my more favoured helmets. I don't like the two white helmets that they've got. They've got a Captain Rex one as well. So not really my favourite cup of tea, but helmets in general do very, very well. They're collectible. There's been a whole range of these. Lego will continue to do more of these, and it's got a relatively short shelf life on this. I know a lot of people, a lot of investors have bought the set, so it's probably heavily over-hoarded and bought, but having said that, I still think it'll be popular. I still think it's definitely worth getting, and towards the top of my list. Again, I could probably do with buying a few more of these myself. I've got a few of these, but not that many of them, so maybe now's the time to start looking out for those deals and discounts and stocking up on a few more of those. Number 3 on my list, 75351, the Princess Leia helmet. So another helmet, I'm afraid, but there's £60 again. This is a set that was again released in March of 23. I think of the two helmets, for me this is a slightly better looking one, although I get why people don't like this helmet. I just think it's such an iconic look from the Return of the Jedi. I think people recognise it. I quite like the look of this one. It's been heavily discounted as the year has gone on Amazon and Sainsbury, where it's exclusive here in the UK. I think I picked a few up recently for around about £45, although they have been cheaper than that. I would try not to pay full price for this particular set if you can help it, but having said that, I think even at £60 for this particular helmet, it wouldn't be a bad thing to get. And again, if you are buying to build this, now would be a very, very good time to think about getting this, because it won't be on shelves much longer. I think a lot of people have bought these as the year has gone on. I think they have been quite popular with investors, and because there have been deals and discounts at supermarkets and things. Having said that, it's a helmet, and I think these helmets do tend to do quite well over a period of time as well. Number 2 on my list then, and this is going to be controversial for a lot of people, 75353, the Endor Speeder Chase diorama. This was released in May of 2023. All 3 of the figures in this are apparently exclusive. 608 pieces, so it's not the biggest set in the world. Retails at £70. Again, this is a set that you can get quite readily at a discounted price. I would not suggest you pay £70 for this. Be looking, especially in the UK, at least 55 or lower than that. I think they have been down to around about, I got a few for £40 earlier in the year. I don't think those deals are going to come anytime soon again, but I like this set. I think of all of the dioramas, this is just such an iconic scene, and also it's very well done as well. I like how it looks. It's a little bit like the Dagobah one from last year. I think of all the dioramas that retired last year, the Dagobah one is the better looking of the set. There's a little bit more going on. I think it's more pleasing to the eye than some of the other dioramas. A lot of people don't like the dioramas and won't invest in them. Personally, I think more fool you. I think this could do very, very well, especially if you can get it at a discounted rate. But yeah, I just quite like this set, and I think it lends itself as well to people potentially buying more than one of these, because you could almost sort of fit 2 together and have a slightly larger scene, or build the trees up higher to make it a little bit bigger. So I think there's definitely potential in this set. I really, really like this. I've got quite a few of these. If I can get them reduced, I might try and get a few more before they retire. And so that brings us to number 1 on my list, and it's probably no surprise, I've already done a similar list where I did my top 5 sets to get, and that's 75290 Mozley Cantina. Number 1 on my list. It was released in October of 2020, and despite this being a big set, there are 21 minifigures in this set, 9 of which are exclusive. It's got a high price of £345. I've been picking up these recently on, I think it was John Lewis, had them reduced to about, was it around about 260, 270? So be looking out for deals and discounts on this one. Look, it's a set that's been out for a while. And it's a big set as well, so I would normally, as an investor, someone storing sets, I would say don't get the bigger sets because they're quite difficult to store. It's not the biggest box in the world. There are certainly bigger boxes out there. The AT-AT box, for example, which is at the bottom of my list, is huge, like double the size of that one. So it's not a huge, massive box. It's quite a lot of money to spend on it, but I just think that this particular set is a really nice set. It sort of all opens out. You can take the bar bit out of the middle. There's loads going on. You get loads of figures with it. I just think it's just going to be a very, very popular set once it retires, and because of the high price point, I think there are going to be fewer people that will have a lot of these sets, so that goes in its favour. I think there are investors out there that have bought quite a few of these, especially recently because in the UK they've been reduced, but I think these potentially could do very, very well, and this is why this is number 1 on my list, as it was in my previous list when I did top 5s of all the Lego themes. That's why it was number 1. So that is my list. As I said in the start of the video, this is only my opinion of what I think will be the better sets to get. As a rule of thumb, Star Wars sets do tend to do quite well, and even the sets at the bottom of my list, there definitely is potential to make a bit of money on these, and I'm not saying don't get these at all, but you know, get them at the right price, they should do okay. But I think all in all, I think you'll be looking at getting the sets which are middling to higher on my list, maybe potentially, than the ones towards the bottom of the list. Do you agree with my list? Do you think some things are higher than they should be? Have you got more popular sets that are retiring this year? Please let me know in the comments. It's always interesting to see what people think. But that is my list. That is my top 22 of the 24 Lego sets from Star Wars theme that at the moment are down for retiring at the end of this year. Do keep an eye out for another video. I'll do another video for other Lego sets from other themes that are retiring at the end of the year. I'll probably just do one big list for all the other different themes. I just thought the Star Wars is such a popular theme, I would do one list specifically for Star Wars for all of the sets and just try and put them in order. But I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, take care and I'll see you then. Bye for now.